shake the table too much. There we go. Hey everybody, how are you today? Thank you for joining us. If this is your first video with me, thanks for tuning in. My name's Ashley Sweeney, and I'm a registered dietitian, and these are my girls, Bella and Tegan. Bella is about 2.5, she'll be 3 in August, and Tegan is 9 months. And how this works is I just like to get on here on Thursdays and check in with you, and I usually check in while we're eating lunch, and then I answer questions throughout the week, anything you have. And today's topic is going to be 4 ways to lower sugar in your kid's diet. And I like to just kind of share with you what we're eating for lunch today, and just kind of invite you just to chat in with us and ask questions. And if I don't answer questions right away, then I will in the throughout the day as you ask questions about it, the topic. So let's see. So let me share first what we have for lunch today. They both have leftover chicken from last night. Last night we had coconut curry chicken, and so Tegan's is just shredded up, and then she has a few scrambled eggs that are leftover scrambled eggs. And then Bella has, and then Tegan also has just some, they were frozen veggies that are cooked, carrots and beans and corn. And then Bella has, can I see a plate? Okay. Bella has leftover coconut curry chicken also. She has a little bit of ketchup. She has carrots. She has some, what's that dip? She has that ranch, that Bolthouse Farms yogurt ranch dip. And then she already has her chocolate ready because she knows that we went to Target today and she got some chocolate, and she was going to be able to eat it after lunch. It wasn't really a dessert or anything. It wasn't really a special treat. It was just, we said we would have chocolate after lunch. So she already has it ready, and she's eating her other foods first. So I'm not perfect by any means, but I've learned a lot with my degree with nutrition, and then working with mom and babies for so long, and then it's totally different having your own kids. So that's what I'm experiencing. So I'm just doing my best trying to share what has worked for us and what has worked working with other clients in the past, and nutritionally how to keep our kids healthy as possible. So I'm just, if you haven't joined one of our live videos, I'm just going to kind of keep feeding them and talking to you, and I have some notes that I want to make sure to cover. And I'll try to keep this brief. Last week was a little bit longer. So today's topic is going to be about 4 ways to lower sugar in your kid's diet. So we have to think about our own selves as human or as adults, and how the cravings that we have for sugar and how addicting sugar really is. I think we just don't think that our children would have those addictions either, or those cravings, I should say, especially if they've been eating those foods for so long, depending on what age your kid is. They've been eating sugar for so long, and the sugar has just been a daily part of their life, or part of their day every day. So why wouldn't it be addicting for them too? And so that's just something to remember. The earlier that you can start kicking sugar down in their diets, the better, right? I mean, it's never going to be too late. So it doesn't matter their age. These recommendations will still apply, I believe. So it's hard for us as adults to cut back on our own sugar intake, and some of you have probably experienced that yourself if you've tried to cut down sugar, cut out sugar. So think about how a kid would feel if you're trying to cut out sugar, especially if you've always allowed them to eat what they want, or if they've always been allowed to just pick and choose what's fed to them. Then imagine how they would feel if you start taking away the things that they love. We as adults don't like it, so sometimes we don't expect them to not be the same sometimes. So remember, I believe this can be done slowly, cutting down on sugar, cutting down on added sugars in your diet. And it doesn't have to be, okay, everybody, tomorrow we're not eating sugar. Like, as if sometimes we as adults try to do. Like, okay, on Monday, no sugar. Instead, I believe it can be a gradual process with some of these recommendations I'm going to talk about. And then it becomes a lifestyle change. So don't feel like you have to jump into doing all of these changes right away. Some of you are probably doing some of these things, but hopefully some of these tips will also add to what you're already doing. Remember, you as a mom are in control. And I will repeat that in every video I feel like I've done, that we are in control. As much as we feel like sometimes the temper tantrums, the crying, the whining controls us, and sometimes it feels like it does. I just want you to remember, you are in control as a mom, and you have a choice of what's purchased, what's bought at the store, where the money is going with our food. And so we as consumers also have buying power with whether or not we choose to keep buying the junk food at the stores, and showing the industry what we want. So if you stop using your money to show people that's what you want, you stop bringing that food in the house, it's just going to become norm. So just remember, you're in control. It may feel like our kids are, but geez, Tegan, she's going to fly right out of there. And our kids know our triggers, and they know what things get us and what things will win us over, especially if your kid's older. They know how to push your buttons the right way, I bet. So just remember that going forward, that some of these things take time, and especially if they've always been given sugar, always been given snacks, always been given separate meals, when you start to tell them, we're not going to do that, or if you start to enforce some of these things, or if you start, these changes you start to implement and you realize there's some pushback, that's normal. It's just normal, okay? So just expect that going in. And I just want to preface that because it's not always going to be easy if your kid's been eating chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, and then you go to show them their coconut curry chicken with carrots and yogurt ranch. Like, there's going to be pushback. Just expect that. So I wouldn't expect you to go from if what you're doing right now to this. So just know that going in. Okay, so first, tip number 1, reduce snacking between meals. We talked about this last week or the week before, but if we are always giving our children constant source of sugar, then their body is constantly running off sugar and never giving them their gut a chance to have a break. And it also is a constant fuel of glucose, which will just cause a constant craving for that glucose. So it doesn't matter whether we are, well, actually, let me cut back on that. Listen to the podcast, if you're not a podcast listener, from Chalene Johnson, on the one on Dr. Fung. I'll find the exact number for it. Where he talks about basically we've been brainwashed to eat 5, 6, 7, 8 meals a day or small snacks throughout the day, when in reality it was kind of pushed onto us from no scientific evidence. So with my clients, I'm trying to help get themselves down to 3 meals a day, and so I'm trying to do that myself with children. So and with my clients' children. So we're reducing snacking between meals, and snacks are only occasional. For us, they're usually when we're out and about, and that's just kind of what we do. And usually our meal times are off if we're out and about traveling or out and about doing errands, like we were today. We went out to Target, and she had graham crackers in the car, and then picked up some chocolate in the store, and we were gonna have chocolate today with lunch. So those are snacks that we do. They're mostly going out the door, and we make meal times larger. So the tip number 2 is to have higher fat meals with higher protein. So in my meal planning program, I teach people to focus their meals all around the protein, and then veggies, and then fat. And carbs are more of a flavoring or an addition or an enhancer. And I would never limit carbohydrates with children, like especially fruits and veggies. However, if I were having things like mac and cheese at every meal, potatoes at every meal, rice at every meal, those types of things, toast, those types of things don't need to be there. Let me tell you that a 1 to a 3-year-old needs 900 to 1,400 calories. Okay, so I talked about this before too, because 1 to 3, a 12-month-old and a 3-month-old or 3-year-old, that's a massive nutrition difference, and a size difference, and a developmental difference. So I hate that those are all lumped together, and unfortunately it is, and that's what we have to go by with some, if you want professional recommendations. So the recommendation for a 1 to a 3-year-old is 900 to 1,400 calories. Common sense would tell you, okay, a 12-month-old and 1-year-old would eat probably around 900 calories, and then the 3-year-old would be on the higher end of the calorie range. But we know that we don't always need the exact same number of calories every day, and it's okay for that to fluctuate from day to day. As long as over the course of the day you feel like you're getting, and your kids are getting an average within there. A 1 to a 3-year-old should have 13 grams of protein a day. So, I mean, just start looking at the foods you're eating. An egg, for example, has 7 grams of protein. She eats 2 eggs at once. So it's okay if one meal you have carrots and blueberries and there's no protein. Because if you ate 2 eggs earlier in the morning and then maybe you're going to have some chicken at night, you're covered on your protein. I think sometimes we stress about every meal being perfect. And I'd like for you to remember that one meal a day, a good, whatever your standard for good is, as long as you have at least one good meal a day, that's pretty successful. So just don't be so stressed about every single meal. It's really over the course of the day, over the course of the week, how does their diet look? Okay, so tip number 2 was higher fat meals, higher protein meals, and I told you that a kid 1 to 3 years old should have about 900 to 1,400 calories. The recommendation for a 4 to 5-year-old is also the same. It's because during that 1 to 3 year range, they have more growth spurts and they're growing faster. So at 4 to 5, it kind of slows down. And you'll find too, I mean, you guys already know this, when they're hitting growth spurts, they eat more. And that just happens. So I wouldn't stress about limiting anything at that time. I would just make sure that it's higher quality. So higher protein, higher fat. That'll also make them more satiated so they're not hungry 30 minutes later. So we, for example, the fat in this meal has, the chicken was cooked in coconut milk, which has a lot of fat in it, and then there's not much fat in the yogurt, but that's what is in this meal for the fat to help keep her full, and then plenty of protein. A 4 to 5-year-old protein recommendations is 13 to 19 grams a day. So, just so you know, kind of, ew, get your foot down, P.U. All right, let me give her some more chicken here real quick. Get this down. Normally I have her tray out, but it was so big with this table and getting her close to the thing. There we go. Okay, foot down. Okay, tip number 1 was reduce snacking between meals so that your meals can be more of a priority and more of a focus, and that your kid can hopefully eat more actually at a meal if they're eating less between meals. Number 2 is higher fat meals, higher protein. Number 3 is more meals at home and preparing ahead of time. So I always recommend clients have 3 meals prepared in the freezer for backup at any given time. So this is usually done the beginning of the month, or maybe even every other month, doing a big batch of freezer meals. Get off me. You're so dirty. And so making sure that you have a few freezer meals ready to go just in case life happens. The other thing is that if you have meals prepared ahead of time, especially if you are doing meal prepping and meal planning, then you're not going to be tempted to eat out as much. And so basically my point with number 3 is to, when you're eating out, the added sugars that are in absolutely everything and the lack of control that you have there is you have no control. You have no idea, and you also, you're at the whim of somebody else and somebody else's food menu. So just eating as many meals at home as you can. Some of you are already doing this, but just a reminder that most all meals should be consumed within the house, or come from the house too. It goes for snacks and stuff too. And always having some backup meals in the freezer because you're busy, and I know you're busy. All right, the 4th thing is to watch out for condiments, sauces, and drinks and beverages. So sugars are obviously going to be in any of the juices and sodas and teas and anything like that you have around the house. So avoid all of those beverages. But condiments and sauces are really sneaky. And look out for labels. Look for labels that say, you know what, not even just condiments and sauces, like applesauce. Well, I guess that's a sauce. I was thinking more like pasta sauces and stuff like that. And how much does your child use? Bella has about 1 tablespoon of ketchup there, but I've seen kids go through so much ketchup at a time. And in this ketchup that we have, I think there's like 4 grams of sugar per tablespoon. And one little setting of that isn't going to matter. It isn't going to hurt you in the long run. But if they're constantly eating ketchup and ketchup and ketchup, ketchup, that's going to add up. And so it's the same thing with us as adults. But sometimes it just seems different when it's our kids. So sugar in ketchup, in any other sauces that you're using, any dressings that you have, just read the labels. Look for corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, brown rice syrup, any type of sugar, and organic sugar is still sugar. So whether it's labeled natural and it has sugar on the label, it's still sugar, and it's still doing the same thing in our body. So, any questions about there? I kind of talked fast because I don't want to take this too long, and I'm going to lose these too if I don't talk quick either. So let me just recap. Go ahead and watch back from the beginning if you missed it, but reduce snacking between meals or only occasionally. Higher fat meals, higher protein meals, and I talked about the calorie range and the protein recommendation for each age, under the age of 5. And eat more meals at home, prepared at home, and snacks at home too. And then watch out for condiments, sauces, and beverages. So those types of things all add up. And then I guess lastly, around the topic of snacking, because I feel like this is really something we've covered or we've been kind of talking about a lot lately, is if you are used to buying a lot of snacks, you're going to find that at first if you're buying grocery shopping and you're finding your grocery bills higher, it's probably because you're buying both things. You're buying the healthier things and you're buying your snacks. So start to cut down the snacks that you're keeping at home and just having the healthy things. Your grocery bill won't be as high. So I was finding that with a lot of my clients, they're buying their snacks for all their junk food, and then they were buying treats for snacks, in addition to the healthy foods that they were buying for their healthier eating lifestyle they were trying to achieve, and their grocery bills were just off the charts. So it's not both. It's one. Get your feet down. It should be one or the other, and of course this can be a gradual process for you and your family. So, any questions? If you're catching this late, go ahead and post them below. We are going to have a few pieces of chocolate and get ready for nap time in a little bit. So, talk to you guys soon. Bye. You want to say bye?